Good day, Mr. Minister. Thank you very much for giving us time out of your busy schedule. We are truly grateful. It's a great honor for us. Mr. Minister, the first question is about power. Power comes in many forms: economic, cultural, and even in resilience. Central Asia is increasingly recognized as a region with vast potential and strategic importance. How do you strike a balance between developing regional cooperation and safeguarding your country's national interests?
First of all, I would like to thank you, Mr. Fikrat, and your colleagues for showing interest in us, for taking the time to come here and speak with us about international politics, Central Asia, Kyrgyzstan, and Kyrgyz-Azerbaijani relations. I believe it's very valuable, and I thank you sincerely for your deep interest in our country. The question, of course, is quite broad, but I'll try to answer in simpler terms. As you know, Central Asia is one of the regions that has gained serious strategic interest from many countries. Central Asia, and Kyrgyzstan included, is part of today's globalized world, which is changing every single day. And the countries of Central Asia understand this very well and take it seriously. Naturally, we recognize that in today's complex geopolitical conditions, Central Asian countries must move closer together and become more transparent with one another. Most importantly, we need to create an environment for joint development. At the same time, we see ourselves as a single, rich region with fascinating cultural traditions. The peoples of Central Asia have lived side by side for centuries. They've always cooperated, interacted, and enriched one another culturally. That's why today we're committed to further integration. In the current geopolitical climate, we are confident that Central Asian countries will become even closer. We want to be seen as a united regional actor playing a positive role. And of course, while doing so, we remain mindful of our national interests. Every country has its own. We will continue to uphold them. But at the same time, we aim to deepen our integration, build closer ties, and create opportunities for our people to interact, trade, and most importantly, attract mutual investment. The region is rich in natural and human resources. What's essential is that foreign investors can always find something of interest here, be it natural resources, favorable climate conditions, or a well-prepared workforce. Above all, the countries of Central Asia are open, transparent, and hospitable. In this regard, I believe that as Central Asian states, we've made progress. Over the last 5 or 6 years, our heads of state have maintained a mechanism for consultative meetings. Last year, the 6th such meeting took place in Astana. The next one will be held this year in Tashkent. These meetings are used to discuss the full range of regional and bilateral issues, our shared interests, challenges, and how to address them. This mechanism has proven effective. Following the summit, heads of government and relevant ministries and agencies begin work to implement the agreements reached. For instance, in 2022, the 4th summit was held in Kyrgyzstan, in the city of Cholpon-Ata. On that occasion, the countries signed a treaty of eternal friendship, oriented towards the 21st century. This document forms the foundation for our future cooperation. Then, last year in Astana, we adopted a roadmap looking ahead to 2040, a working document for our governments going forward. So yes, Kyrgyzstan and the rest of Central Asia are committed to a stable and prosperous region, because that aligns with the shared interests and aspirations of our peoples and our states. As a unified region, we present ourselves together at international events and conferences. Over the last 3 to 4 years, we've consistently spoken with a single voice. This makes our job as foreign ministers easier and also allows our diplomats to work more effectively together. Of course, each country still pursues its national interests. We're open about that. And yes, sometimes we debate these issues. But the key point is that we all understand the strategic importance of Central Asia. Many countries, both Western and Eastern, view it as a bridge between Asia and Europe. In this context, each Central Asian country plays a key role. We recognize that, and we are determined that stability and prosperity should be the main drivers of our shared development.
стабильность и процветание, она должна быть главным фактором для нашего соразвития.
Mr. Minister, you touched on investment at the regional level. We'd like to go into this in a bit more detail. Kyrgyzstan's geographic location makes it one of the region's strategic countries, especially for initiatives like the Belt and Road. How do you attract foreign investors? And what opportunities would you highlight for international partners interested in working with your country?
Да, мы, поскольку Кыргызстан находится в Центральной Азии,
Yes, Kyrgyzstan is located in Central Asia, and major road routes from China to Europe and from Europe to China pass through our territory. We are also beginning work on a railway project in cooperation with the Chinese side. I believe the Belt and Road Initiative is one of the strategic documents of the Chinese government. Over 150 countries have joined it, as it offers real opportunities for joint investment, especially in infrastructure development and, crucially, boosting trade among participating countries. Kyrgyzstan plays an important role here because two major border crossings, Irkeshtam and Torugat, are located on our territory. Nearly all transit goods from China heading towards Central Asia and even the Caucasus pass through Kyrgyzstan. We've recently agreed with the People's Republic of China on the potential opening of a third crossing, Bedel. Reconstruction work and infrastructure development are already underway, and this crossing will soon be operational, further linking China with Central Asia. So, a large volume of transit cargo already moves through Kyrgyzstan to Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, and onwards to the Caucasus. That's why we're very interested in developing a transport and logistics hub in the region. We're actively working on this with our partners. Our government fully understands its importance and is implementing plans to improve our checkpoints, making sure they operate around the clock without delays. These checkpoints are in the interest of both our country and the wider region. For example, trade within Central Asia now stands at around $10 billion. Much of that trade flows through Kyrgyzstan and Kazakhstan, as both of us share borders with China. In this context, Kyrgyzstan holds a key position as a transit country. That's why we're looking to attract companies and organizations that would be interested in infrastructure projects, building logistics hubs and trade centers that would allow goods from Kyrgyzstan to reach markets across Central Asia, the CIS and beyond, including Europe. We will continue to call on and encourage investors. And there are now many companies interested in working within the Eurasian Economic Union. We are telling foreign investors, you can set up production facilities in Kyrgyzstan and use them to access the entire EAEU market, Kazakhstan, Russia, Belarus, and Armenia. And from there, you can also reach our neighbors, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and Turkmenistan. We are working to attract these investments, and at the same time, we're creating favorable conditions. Our government is doing everything possible to ensure that foreign investors feel at home here, that they have the right environment to operate in, and above all, that their business interests are protected. The government guarantees this, and our president pays special attention to the safety and confidence of investors. We're working very seriously with foreign investors, but at the same time, we now have strong domestic investors as well. Many of them are actively involved in building infrastructure, developing technological products, and setting up industrial centers across the country. So, in this regard, we're keen to work with our Central Asian neighbors. We're also interested in cooperating with close regional partners like China, Pakistan, and India. And of course, there's our immediate neighbor, Afghanistan, which we see as a potentially important market for future trade. We sincerely hope the situation in Afghanistan stabilizes. We are certainly interested in building cooperation with them. Some of our neighbors, like Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and Turkmenistan, are already actively working in this direction, and we too want to deepen our ties with our Afghan friends. Overall, I believe Kyrgyzstan offers suitable conditions for attracting investment. The state guarantees the safety of businesses, and I believe there are more than enough opportunities to operate successfully in our country.
Государство гарантирует их бизнес, безопасность. Я думаю, есть достаточные условия для работы в Кыргызстане.
Mr. Minister, when we speak about regional cooperation, it's impossible to ignore the issues of water, water resources, and borders, topics that are often quite sensitive in Central Asia. A significant agreement was recently reached on this front. How are you approaching these challenges in a way that protects your national interests, while also ensuring mutually beneficial outcomes for all parties?
Yes, this is indeed one of the most important issues in our relations with neighboring countries. Kyrgyzstan is a country where many of the region's water resources originate. The water that gathers here flows onwards to our neighbors, to Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and through Uzbekistan to Turkmenistan. Naturally, this creates many questions. That's why we have a joint commission made up of our relevant agencies. These bodies meet regularly, annually, and quarterly to discuss matters including water quotas. In spring and summer, water demand is very high, and in dry years, Kyrgyzstan itself sometimes doesn't have enough water. But even in those cases, we still sit down with our neighbors and share what we have. When weather conditions are favorable and there's more rainfall, of course, the situation becomes much easier. At the same time, because we're located at the source of these rivers, we are very interested in developing hydropower. That's why we've now reached an agreement with our neighbors, Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan, to jointly build the major Kambirata 1 hydropower plant. This project serves not only Kyrgyzstan's interests, but those of the entire region. Kambirata 1 is situated on the upper part of the river Cascade. Once completed, it will generate electricity throughout the year. Kyrgyzstan will receive the electricity, while the water released from the dam will flow downstream to our neighbors. Currently, we have to release water even in winter while producing electricity. We have no choice. But once Kambirata 1 is operational, we'll be able to generate electricity all year round while regulating water storage and release. In winter, the water will be held back and stored downstream. And then, during the irrigation season, we'll release it for our neighbors, Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. This has all been discussed by our experts, approved by our government and our heads of state, and work is already actively underway. This project is of regional importance. In addition, we have many smaller rivers that also flow to our neighbors. We are inviting investors to help build medium and small-sized hydropower plants to generate electricity from these streams. Our government has adopted a resolution allowing private investors to build such plants. The state commits to purchasing the electricity produced, which makes these projects more attractive to investors. There is strong interest in this sector. Our government has a target to build around 50 small hydropower plants over 3 to 4 years. In the last 2 years alone, we've built around 15, and new projects are under development. We plan to expand this work each year. The most important thing is that this is green energy. It's environmentally friendly and creates opportunities for rural development, for setting up production, attracting investment, and establishing industrial zones. That's why we're placing strong emphasis on this area. Energy is one of the foundations of our economy, and we are very keen to attract investment into this sector. At the same time, we are actively cooperating with our neighbors. We're discussing all the water-related issues constructively. And I believe that in the last 2 to 3 years, we've managed to meet all the needs of our neighbors. There's a spirit of cooperation and mutual understanding. And we are committed to continuing that work.
Mr. Minister, speaking of natural resources, Kyrgyzstan is home to stunning nature and a rich, ancient history. Historical landmarks such as those along the ancient Silk Road are a testament to your country's cultural and natural wealth. More recently, President Ilham Aliyev of Azerbaijan was invited to visit Lake Issyk-Kul, a sign of how important cultural diplomacy can be. In your view, how can cultural diplomacy be used to further expand international and regional cooperation? And more broadly, what is the role of cultural diplomacy today?
Before I answer your question, I'd like to briefly highlight our bilateral relations with Azerbaijan. Between Kyrgyzstan and Azerbaijan, we have developed a truly brotherly relationship. Our president has visited Baku twice, and President Aliyev has visited us once. We have now elevated our cooperation to the level of a strategic partnership. This demonstrates the high level of mutual trust and strong partnership between our countries. We are committed to further strengthening our trade, economic, investment, and cultural humanitarian ties. We are very interested in deepening our relations with our Azerbaijani brothers. As for Central Asia, this has historically been a region along the Silk Road. Trade, tourism, and many cross-border interactions pass through Central Asia, including through Kyrgyzstan. We were one of the main routes of the Great Silk Road. Naturally, we want our culture to be better known around the world. We would like tourists from Europe, Asia, and our neighboring countries to come and explore Kyrgyzstan's potential. We're particularly keen to showcase the opportunities our country offers, from its natural beauty to major investment projects in the tourism sector. To achieve this, it's important to establish permanent contacts with partners abroad in the tourism field. In this context, I'd like to note that we already have strong ties with Azerbaijan, but we would like to see increased air connectivity. Air travel is one of the key conditions for boosting tourism. We are interested in having tourists from Europe and the Caucasus travel to Kyrgyzstan via Azerbaijan. Likewise, we would like to see more of our own tourists visiting Azerbaijan and, through it, exploring the culture of the wider Caucasus region. Returning to our bilateral ties, we are keen to intensify our political dialogue and economic cooperation. That's why our president, His Excellency Sadir Nurgozhoevich Japarov, extended an invitation to President Aliyev to visit Kyrgyzstan, and especially Lake Issyk-Kul. Issyk-Kul is one of Central Asia's natural jewels. As you know, it's a mountain lake with slightly saline water, often described as having a taste of the sea. It attracts many tourists throughout the year, in winter and in summer. The lake doesn't freeze over, so in winter you can go skiing in the surrounding mountains, and in summer you can swim in the lake. What makes it truly special is that you can be bathing in the lake while looking up at snow-capped peaks and glaciers. This draws a lot of interest from foreign visitors. We've invited Mr. Aliyev to see Issyk-Kul for himself. With the support of Azerbaijani investors, a 5-star hotel is currently under construction there, a future landmark that we hope will help attract even more tourists to the region. If Mr. Aliyev visits our country, I believe he will find it both enjoyable and worthwhile. I understand that in Azerbaijan you have the Caspian Sea nearby, but for some of your tourists, seeing a high-altitude lake like Issyk-Kul might be a unique and interesting experience. So yes, we are very eager for President Ilham Aliyev to visit Issyk-Kul, to see both the cultural and investment opportunities firsthand. When such high-level figures visit, it inspires interest from companies, government agencies, and tourism firms alike. We are truly looking forward to welcoming the President of Azerbaijan to Kyrgyzstan, and to Issyk-Kul in particular. I think it would be a very pleasant, meaningful visit. We are fully prepared, and we're already coordinating with Azerbaijan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs on the agenda. I believe we'll organize this important visit in the near future.
Mr. Minister, in today's increasingly polarized world, smaller countries often have a unique opportunity to bring fresh perspectives to international diplomacy. Do you see Kyrgyzstan as a bridge builder in global affairs?
You see, we are a country with limited resources, but that does not prevent us from being fully engaged and genuinely committed to international affairs. As a sovereign state, Kyrgyzstan takes clear and independent positions on a wide range of global issues. That's why we actively participate in both international and regional organizations. We are founding members of the Commonwealth of Independent States, the Collective Security Treaty Organization, and the Eurasian Economic Union. We also helped establish the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Within these organizations, Kyrgyzstan makes its own meaningful contribution, not just by participating, but by actively shaping the agenda, expressing our views, and working towards international peace and stability. The world is changing rapidly, and there are worrying signs almost every day. Kyrgyzstan closely monitors these developments and consistently expresses its positions on global platforms, including at the United Nations, the OSCE, and various regional bodies. We believe it is vital for Kyrgyzstan to have its voice heard in major international organizations. That's why, after consulting with our country's leadership, we made the decision to nominate Kyrgyzstan for a non-permanent seat on the UN Security Council for the term 2027 to 2028. Our candidacy is supported by our neighbors and Central Asian partners. We aim to represent the entire region. Many of our international partners have also expressed support. We are actively campaigning, and despite our limited human and financial resources, we remain determined to play an active role in global affairs and to put forward our positions on key issues. As for the Central Asia Plus formats, these are very dynamic platforms. Just recently, we held the Central Asia-China Summit in Astana. We also have similar formats with the United States, with Russia, with Japan, and South Korea, and with India. We intend to continue using these formats to promote the interests of our region and our countries. Within these frameworks, we and our neighbors often present a united front, particularly when it comes to launching joint business initiatives, tourism projects, and attracting investment. We also welcome the engagement of our Azerbaijani friends who have taken part in some of these formats. President Ilham Aliyev has participated twice in consultative summits of Central Asian leaders. This demonstrates Azerbaijan's interest in building closer ties with Central Asia. And of course, we wholeheartedly welcome that. We're also open to working through Azerbaijan to strengthen our relations with the wider Caucasus region. In fact, we believe there is significant potential to expand cooperation, not only with the Caucasus, but with Europe, through Azerbaijan. So yes, we are ready to engage, ready to work together, and ready to discuss all matters of mutual interest.
Mr. Minister, it is often said that climate change is a global challenge with local consequences. And being here in Kyrgyzstan now, we are witnessing those consequences firsthand, including the abnormal heat of recent days. Kyrgyzstan played a key and active role during COP29. What initiatives or concrete steps are being taken to integrate sustainable practices into the country's economic development?
Yes, this is a very important question. Climate change is not just a trend of the times. It affects every citizen, the core interests of our region, and indeed, the future of our entire planet. The impacts of climate change can now be felt everywhere. As you know, Kyrgyzstan is a mountainous country, home to a large number of glaciers. But each year we see them melting, water levels decreasing, and in the future, this could lead to serious problems in terms of climate and water security. This is why we are actively participating in all international climate platforms and dialogues. We voice our ideas on how to preserve the climate, and we remain committed to the Paris Agreement. We advocate for carbon neutrality, and we are actively working in this direction. This isn't just rhetoric. As I've mentioned before, we are placing a strong emphasis on green energy. That includes hydropower, which reduces reliance on gas and coal. We are investing in renewable energy sources, and we have created the necessary conditions for this sector to grow. Many foreign companies are already working in Kyrgyzstan, investing in solar panel production and wind power stations. We are very active in this space. At COP29 in Baku last year, we took part actively. Our president addressed the general session. Our ministers of ecology and leading experts participated in the panel discussions. We also had an exhibition stand at the conference, which received positive feedback from participants. We believe the COP29 conference in Baku was a great success. It was well organized and delivered real results. One of the key outcomes was the agreement to create a $300 billion climate fund which could be used to support global efforts to combat climate change. Kyrgyzstan will continue to support and engage with such efforts. And of course, as a mountainous country, we feel the effects of climate change more directly every year. Normally, around this time of year, temperatures would be around 30 or perhaps 32 degrees. But now you can feel it yourselves. It's 40 or 41 degrees. This is abnormal. The heat we used to experience at the end of July or in early August is now arriving in May and June. We know this will impact our glaciers, and as they melt, it creates numerous problems for mountain communities, including floods, mudslides, and the destruction of bridges and energy infrastructure. We experience these events every year. Our government is constantly forced to step in to rebuild destroyed roads, power lines, and bridges. This is a recurring challenge for us. That's why, as a mountain country, we pay serious attention to mountain-related issues. You may know that in 2023, the UN General Assembly adopted a 5-year action plan for the development of mountain regions. We are working actively with other mountain countries within this framework. We're not only discussing global climate policy, we are also implementing real domestic measures to improve life in our mountain regions. This includes building roads where there were none, constructing schools, extending electricity lines, and launching greening and reforestation initiatives. So yes, the climate agenda is extremely important to us, and Kyrgyzstan will continue to take an active and serious role in international and regional climate projects. We hope this will bring positive change, not only for us, but for the region as a whole.
Mr. Minister, as a leader representing Kyrgyzstan on the international stage, what motivates your vision for the country's future? And what message would you like to share with the international community about Kyrgyzstan's aspirations?
Over the past 3 to 4 years, our economy has shown steady growth. In 2024, we recorded a 9% increase in GDP. And in the first quarter of this year, our GDP growth reached 11%. We're hopeful that this year will also finish strong, somewhere between 9% and 10%. Our government is working hard to make that a reality. Recently, our president adopted the country's new strategic development program for 2025 to 2030. It clearly outlines the growth parameters and national goals for the years ahead. What motivates me most is the vision of Kyrgyzstan as an independent, sovereign state with strong economic potential. A stable country where people feel safe, secure, and satisfied with their lives. We want our young people to feel inspired to study and work here at home. Our government, and I, as Foreign Minister, are deeply committed to seeing Kyrgyzstan become a highly developed country. A place that welcomes international visitors and where our own citizens can take pride in their nation. To the international community, I would say this. Kyrgyzstan is a stable country, rich in natural resources and cultural heritage. It is open, democratic, and committed to upholding human rights and freedom of expression. We invite you to visit Kyrgyzstan, whether for discovery, tourism, or partnership. If there is interest in working with us, we are ready to engage in dialogue and create favorable conditions for cooperation. Most importantly, we want every foreign visitor, be they a tourist or an investor, to feel at home in Kyrgyzstan. We offer all the conditions for doing business, for traveling, and for learning about the Kyrgyz people and culture. Our government is committed to making every guest feel welcome. Overall, I believe we have a bright future ahead. We are optimistic, and we are confident that Kyrgyzstan's future will be strong and prosperous.
У нас есть хороший настрой, и мы уверены, что будущее Кыргызстана будет отличным.
Thank you very much, Mr. Minister. Once again, we appreciate you taking the time for this interview.
Вам спасибо. Я думаю, что
Thank you. I hope that what we've discussed today will reach a wide audience, and perhaps it will spark new interest in building partnerships with Kyrgyzstan. Thank you very much.
возможностях сотрудничества с Кыргызстаном. Спасибо вам большое.